Welcome to part 3 of percent problems, percent help. Hey, that's swell. Part 3 is all about finding the missing whole. Our goal is to figure out what number is the whole from a percent. And we're still using this guy, the ratio. Part to whole is equal to percent out of 100. Your basic problem. 10 is 20% of what number? I'm going to start by labeling the problem. I already see a percentage, 20%. And we have to be careful. This says out of what number? And I should be thinking out of what number? This is the whole that I'm looking for here. And 10 is the part. I'm trying to figure out what number is the whole. To solve this, I'm going to use my friend, the ratio table. I start it with a ratio box, and percents are always a part to whole relationship. And I know that 10 goes with the P on top because 10 is the part, and I don't know what the whole on the bottom is. And 20% means 20 out of 100. And now my job is to figure out how do I get from 20 to 10 so that I can get from here to here. And it's sometimes helpful to think about how I get from 10 to 20. I would do times 2, which means if I want to go in the opposite direction, I'm still going to do 2, but now I need to use division, the opposite operation, divide by 2, which means on the bottom, I divide by 2. And if you need to, you can do this out, 100 divided by 2. Of course, you should know from your factors of 100 that 2 goes into 100 50 times, which means 10 is 20% of 50. 50 is my answer. I'm looking for the whole, and that's what I got. Now here's your spicy problem. Let's read it first to make sure we understand what it's about. 25% of the students in a class listen to hip-hop music. If 8 students listen to hip-hop, how many are in the class? Now this is kind of tricky because I don't see some of those clues about what's the part and what's the whole, so I have to think about it. 25%, that's easy to see that that's the percentage. And that 25% in the class, it's the students that listen to hip-hop. So I want to think 8 students that listen to hip-hop, that's the part, which means how many are in the class? I'm thinking how many total students are in the class. So the whole is the thing that I'm trying to find out. This is a missing whole problem. And so I'm going to set up a ratio table. And let's put the P and W out here so I have a little more room to write. And the part is, I know that's the students who like hip-hop. So I'm going to write HH for students who like hip-hop. And the whole is the total students. So that's the total. And the numbers that I know, let's see. I know 8 students is the part. I've got 8 hip-hop lovers. I don't know how many students are in the class. That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. I do know 25%, which means 25 out of 100. Now, I've got a bit of a problem here because 25, well, I could figure out how to get from 25 to 8. I could do 25 divided by 8. Then I'm going to end up with a decimal and I have to deal with that. I think it's going to be much easier if I notice that I can simplify something. 25 and 100, I can divide both of them by 25. And in fact, you may remember that 25% is the same thing as 1/4, 1/4. And I remember that, of course, because 1/4, 1/4 is like the coin, 25 cents. So 25 simplifies to 1/4. And if we were using division, we would divide the top and the bottom by the same thing, divide them both by 25. So we can simplify this. And now once I've done that, it's really easy for me to see, oh, if I want to get from 1 to 8, well, that's easy. I just multiply by 8. 1 times 8 is going to be 8, which means I have to do times 8 on the bottom. And 4 times 8 is 32. So let's see, what's the answer to my question? How many students are in the class? Oh, there are 32 students. And finally, because this was an extra spicy problem, let's just make sure that this answer makes sense. Does it make sense that there are 32 students and 8 of them like hip-hop? Yeah, that makes sense. What if we got a number like 3.2? Would that answer make sense? Nope, that sure wouldn't. 3.2, so there are fewer students than there were in the total in the class than like hip-hop. Or similarly, if we got an answer like 320, that seems a little crazy. 320 students in a class? I have no idea how I would teach a class like that. So if we got an answer like that, we knew it wouldn't work. We did it correctly though. The answer is 32 students.